All right, KISS Army, welcome to the KissFAQ Podcast. Thank you for giving us your time today and letting us into your head. I hope we don't do any damage. This is a KISS-related podcast by the board, for the board. We hope that you enjoy. Welcome to episode 290 of the KissFAQ Podcast. I'm your host, Julian Gill. Today I'm joined by Daniel. Good to see you again. Late night when the sun's still shining for you, no doubt. Ken, the Wizard of Wisdom.
Hey, I love that. I saw that.
It was
I
great.
saw that. Yes,
that was awesome. Thank you very much for whoever that was. I don't remember. I'm not going to pull up the page. And of course, stranger Lonnie.
What's up?
Kiss, still proudly wearing his hat.
Joe Burrow, he's coming.
He had a good game. I actually watched
He's
some.
coming.
Yeah.
And I watched that documentary about that Hernandez guy this evening.
Oh, I need to see that.
Oh my,
God.
that's a good one. You have to see that one. Oh,
Former,
what a
Patriots.
crazy.
Yeah, everyone always blames the Patriots for everything. They're like,
for cheating.
and for having psychopathic killers,
Yeah,
with issues.
That-
I haven't seen it, so obviously that's a good reason
it's a great one. You have to see it.
to watch that. We got another kind of random topic type day to have today. So, it's because I'm lazy and I don't plan out episodes. I just want to get together with my friends and talk KISS. But after last episode, Samuel, congratulations on winning the proof copy of On Tour, whatever year, through whatever year it is this year. Yes, another year. It'll be going in the post probably this weekend when I have a chance. So thank you to everyone who entered. You're all losers except for Samuel. Also, it's actually, and Daniel, you were here 5 years ago, nearly to the day, when we taped our first ever episode of the KissFAQ Podcast. That was, of course, with Nigel and Alex, Bagboy. So, congratulations to you guys who've participated. I want to thank everyone. I'm not even going to try and list everyone who's been a participant on the show because I will forget someone, leave them out, and end up offending everyone. But I do want to thank everyone who's participated in the show, everyone who's been a guest on the show, and of course everyone out there who's listened to the show, in particular, and to our wives and loved ones who've tolerated us recording this show. Can't forget them, of course, who suffer while we pontificate about what they find to be completely and absolutely irrelevant. So let's jump into today's irrelevancies. And, what's going on in KISS world right now is people have lost their shit today. Well, yesterday, when KISS Kruise 10 booking opened up, and they went ahead and announced that there weren't going to be 2 indoor shows. Instead, there was going to be the sail away on the poop deck, or whatever the deck's called, followed by a single KISS mast performance while the ship is docked at sea, or at in dock, pardon me. And also going away was going to be the autographed item, to be replaced with a commemorative that was etched with their autographs. And in addition to the previous year's changes, of course, which were no photos after KISS Kruise 8. What else? Yeah, that's pretty much it. So people all over the place, on boards, on Facebook. The KISS Cruiser group has been something else to behold.
Well, the etched autograph thing, that makes it easy. They only have to sign once, but yeah, and then they just print them up, whatever it may be. So it reminds me of that Creatures of the Night single, the double-sided. Well, there's a double groove on one side, and the other side of the 12-inch is the etched signatures in there.
Yeah, the British one released it way back when. So, I'm going to start with Lonnie because he actually went on a cruise once or twice. I can't remember how many times. What are kind of your thoughts? And you will have seen like Joe and other people trying to, comment on some of the people's reactions to all this drama. What are your thoughts on the changes that have been made to the cruise?
I'm not a fan of the changes, to be honest. I mean, for me, what sold me to go on the cruise was, one, I went on the second cruise, and you can look at what prices were 8 years ago for the cruise versus what prices are now for the cruise, and they have increased a little by little every year, and to where they are now. And I get it, why they've increased every year. The thing sells out every year, so why not charge a little more for it every year? I mean, that's what smart business people do. If we're selling product and there's demand for the product that we don't have any more of, well, the next time the product becomes available, we're going to charge a little more for it. That's what smart business people do, and I get that, and that's fine. But for me, what sold me on going on the cruise was the price of it, to see KISS unplugged acoustically, and to see KISS in a small theater type of setting where they were going to be playing some obscure type stuff, because I saw what the set lists were for KISS Kruise 1. I'm like, oh, I want that. That's what I sign me up. And you get to meet the band too, so it's like getting a meet and greet. I mean, you didn't get the couple things signed that you do at a meet and greet, back then. But you did get your picture taken with the band. You get a band in an up close setting. You get an acoustic performance. And I was looking at that versus if I wanted to do a meet and greet. It was 2012 that I went on the cruise, versus if I wanted to do a meet and greet on the tour that they did with Motley Crue. And I'm like, well, actually, I can get more bang for my money if I went ahead and just pulled the trigger on this cruise, because one, it's a unique experience. Two, I'm going to get to meet the band, where if I wanted to meet the band when they come into town, well, that's going to cost me $1,000, roughly, give or take, probably give a little bit more. Mm-hmm. But, I think I'm going to do that instead. Yeah, there's going to be more money into it because I'm going to fly to Miami. I'm probably to have at least one night. I think I had 2 nights at a hotel in Miami, one night before we left and one the night after we got back. But you know what? I think, the juice is worth the squeeze. I think it's more value for my money. So I did it. And, and again, what sold me on it was the theater setting, getting to meet the band, and another show I get to watch in the big atrium the other show I get to watch in the big atrium on a big jumbo, 2-story tall TV or whatever. So that's cool. So as time has gone on, obviously the expense has gone up, and Julian, you said on the cruise that you went on, just that for you enjoyed it, but there wasn't enough KISS. And now there's even less KISS on the KISS cruise, where there's only the one show while they're docked on the main deck, which is different. But there's something about seeing KISS in a small type of theater setting, which for me, that was the highlight of the show, was seeing that electric performance. No, they didn't. I went on the cruise where they played a lot of that monster stuff, and some people say, well, that's really cool because they've never played any of those songs again. Whatever, teach their own. But the cool thing was you got to see them in that small theater type setting, and you got to meet the band. And now it's like, well, there's less KISS and we're still charging the same amount of money or more money. That being said, I don't understand the people that are pissed off about it. Then don't go. It's that simple. Save your money and do something else with it, and go somewhere else, or go on a different vacation for the first time in 10 years, maybe. Go do something else. Go anywhere. No one is telling you have to go on KISS Kruise 10. If I don't want to do something, if I don't think I'm getting the value for my money, I don't do it. I go do something else where I think I am going to get value for my money. So, yeah, is there less KISS? Yeah. Does it suck? Sure. If that's what, but don't get upset about it. Just don't do it.
Wow. That's almost like a...
Sorry.
Imagine that. If you don't like something, don't do it. That's just far too reasonable. Daniel, what are your thoughts? I mean, you've not been on a cruise. You probably. No. I don't know if you have any interest in going. What's your take on kind of the drama, anyway, at least that surrounds all this?
Well, I understand that people are disappointed because the cruise seems to have, they have added new ideas year after year, but this time it seems like they are a little bit lazy. They are not doing enough to please the fans. So I get it that they are upset. But I think if I were to go on a cruise, I would probably have a great time anyway, because I think with all KISS fans on that boat, I think you would have a great time anyway. And of course, the pricing is really high. You really have to, want to go on that cruise because it's a lot of money. So it's not for everyone. But I do think that this is something they can continue doing after they stop touring. I would not be surprised if they continued with the cruises after that final show in Madison Square Garden.
Close my door. People just know.
No. I was actually shaking my head to disagree with Daniel, but we'll get around
shaking
to
my head like, no, I'm not available.
We'll get around to my thoughts in a moment. I'm going to bring in
money
the
grab
of wisdom.
Wisdom. No.
I'm going to use that until you tell me to shut the hell up.
I agree with Lonnie. Just don't go is the question. I guess there's these ones regulars that go there every year, and if they're upset about that, then things change, and there may be a good reason why they did it. I don't know, just don't go. Now, there's other people that have never gone. I haven't gone. And it doesn't make a difference. If you want to go and you want to spend the money, then just go do it. You'll probably still have a good time, like Daniel said, So, and if you don't want to go, save your money, and maybe you can save it for the last KISS show or something like that. At New York, wherever that may be. So, I think I don't know what to say about it. I mean, I've never gone to one. I've thought about it many times, and I kept passing them up. And I thought, maybe my money, could be spent somewhere else, better. So
vinyl.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, vinyl.
And a new vinyl this week. Have you bought anything, Ken? We didn't talk about that.
Well, I'll just show you quick. I didn't buy. I got it in the mail. The Eric.
Oh, nice! I did not.
Very nice.
I did not buy one because I'm selling off again, so I skimmed this one.
Card
and you got the relic.
His shirt or a piece of his.
That's awesome.
That's
cool.
Shifty word. I guess.
I have seen now pictures of people opening theirs up, and Tom did post a photo of the actual shirt, which he still has.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
I thought that was very cool of him to share that. And the vinyl looks great. The cover, well done. So very cool.
It's all very nice.
Lonnie, we haven't had you on in a bit. Have you added anything into your collection since your last visit with us?
I know. I got my Destroyer Resurrected colored vinyl. I went to a couple Walmarts the day after Thanksgiving. Went to the first one. It was completely gone. I was like, oh well, because I want the one that was kind of like, I don't know if there is such a thing as a Walmart that's not really busy, but it's not as busy as some of the other ones around town. Yeah. And they didn't have it, so I was like, don't worry about it. It's okay. My wife goes, no, let's go to that one. I'm like, they're not gonna have it. We went in there, and sure enough, they had one left in there, and I snagged it. So if they would have had more, I would have bought more, but they only had the one left. So I got that recently. What else did I get? I don't know. Nobody buys me any KISS stuff for Christmas or anything like that, because everybody's like, I don't know what you have, and if you don't have it, there's probably a reason why you don't have it. So I did order. I am gradually getting my 2014 vinyls. And ordered Destroyer yesterday. That should be coming next week. So what my house needs is another copy of Destroyer, so it's perfect.
Yeah, I'm actually guilty of buying something this week. I won an auction of 18 Japanese LPs for under $300 for the lot. So I dropped the dime on that, and hopefully can put them all up on eBay separately, and see, unless they have any inserts in them.
Actually, if anyone doesn't have Destroyer 2014, just on the regular 2014 version, Deep Discount has it for $781 right now.
Jeez, on vinyl.
On vinyl for $781.
That's true. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. So with shipping, it was like $962 or something. I'm like, how can I not pull the trigger on that?
No, that's very cool. Daniel, how about you? What have you added into
Yeah,
your
I
collection?
actually I bought something I'm going to bring to the concert this summer, and I don't know if it's Ken's fault, but I've recently started to buy KISS stuff again. But I'm more focusing on the 85 era sort of. So I got this one this week. I think it was a cool looking scarf from the guy said he bought it at a concert in Sweden back in '84. I don't know, but it looks cool. This one.
That is
Nice.
cool.
Yeah,
I love that. You just don't see stuff like that very
No,
often.
I love the non-makeup.
No, I haven't seen
those,
one.
the animalized banners. I don't know if anyone remember those with Bruce on it.
So this one has Mark St. John, of course.
Oh,
So it's Mark
Yeah.
St. John.
Yeah.
It's pretty almost mint condition as well. And there you have Animal Eyes 84. So I thought it was really cool. I haven't seen it before on the Swedish eBay, so I got it pretty cheap.
Yeah, very cool. I think that's awesome. All right, so KISS Kruise 10. All right, my thoughts. All right, I'm still conflicted over KISS Kruise 8. And obviously with that set list and that show, on the one hand, I got to see KISS on a boat giving us a taste of what they were going to do on End of the Road. Sure, some people called it a rehearsal. Some people called it lazy. I wasn't horrendously interested in that set per se because I wanted the rare shit and all that. So I'm still thinking about KISS Kruise 10. And, every year I get a booking slot and I'm like, am I going? Am I going? Am I going? I'm actually happy that it's clearing out some of the 9-timers. And I understand why I've seen quite a few of them, particularly being enraged by this change that's been made to the whole cruise, because they've kind of lost their seniority. And the pit and stuff that by no fault of their own, they've accrued by going year after year after year. So by building up that, they've been given this sense of entitlement and something that's just become standard. Entitlement is not kind of the right word to use because it has a very negative connotation towards them.
Well, they build up equity. They build up some equity.
Yeah, they have. And that's why, I've always felt that there should never have been different ranks. You're either KISS Army Navy or you're the KISS Army Admirals, and there's only 4 of them on the boat. The band members. Everyone else are the fans. But once you started differentiating 1-timers, 3-timers, 9-timers, and all that, you built into the Army ranks and divisions. And it's those divisions that kind of come through. They're losing their rights to be up close that they've received for going year after year after year. I get that. I'm also thrilled that they're losing that right because I'm more of an egalitarian kind of guy that I think it should be completely random. But I don't like the idea of a KISS Electric show on, in dock, outdoors, where there'll be people, basically shitting on the deck to keep that spot all day long. They'll be there literally from the night before, the elbows. We've seen some of the near violence when Gene has thrown stuff into the audience. But I think also that the change introduces a level of frustration and anger that won't be taken out on the band, will be taken out on fellow fans. It's like throwing a rock into a pond and the ripples of effect, spread out from that point of impact. So I see some of the negative. I understand the negatives. I understand kind of the positives of a lot has still not been announced. What's been announced? You've had Kisses doing 2 shows announced. The Stardust Theater, or whichever it's on this boat, is still going to be used as a venue. Well, that opens up the question, what the fuck is it being used for then? And then a lot of kind of circuitous comments from poor Sixthman Victoria. Victoria, you'll probably never see this, but I apologize on behalf of the KISS Army for the shit you've been taking with very limited information that they're allowed to share at this point. But there's still stuff to be announced. I don't doubt that. They announced Rat. They announced, Queensryche. Rat, who I couldn't give 2 craps about seeing.
Which rat is it? Isn't there like...
Yeah, I think there's at least 2 in there.
It's one with a vocal smoothing pedal.
Yeah, it's not Bobby
Well,
Blotzers or
No,
whatever. but
it's
drummers,
not that
no.
abomination. It's Stephen Pearcy. It's one. I don't even know how to say his surname, even after all these years.
The guitarist, he quit the band, didn't he?
Yeah,
Didn't-
Warren's not in it. I don't
Yeah.
think Carlos is even still in it.
Okay.
So I know Krabby's not in it, and Jizzy Pearl or whoever. It's like everyone's been in Rat, Warrant at this point. So I think there's a lot still to be announced. If I was able to go, I most likely would, because I still think the most important part of the cruise is the people component. You are seeing friends. You are making new friends who maybe you have as a friend on Facebook who you've never met in person. It's the one time a year that you can bring members of the KISS Army together from all around the world in one place for the cruise fest as well, and whatever pre-cruise entertainment happens before the boat actually departs. So think of all the good that there still is on top of it. Now we get back to my comment of less KISS for more money. Well, shit naturally increases in price. That's fine. Sixthman is going to set most of that. KISS is going to say how much they need to get out of it, and then all the kind of numbers work together. But I just think everyone's automatically assuming that this is only being done so that Gene and Paul can have more artist or painting sales slots or base sales slots. Well, you know what? Those probably sell really frickin' well on a boat. So KISS has always been commercial. KISS has always been about selling as much as they possibly can for as much as they possibly can. And they've really reduced it so that the only time you see them on the boat is when you've paid an extra X amount of thousands of dollars to go see them. So, yeah, we are algorithms. We're Facebook, They don't look at it the same way we do as fans. But I think the key thing is, like Joe says, if you don't like it, don't go. Mm-hmm. If you do, I say let more newbies go for their first and maybe only cruise, because they're going to have the lowest expectations of anyone, because they're only going in by what's been advertised this year. They're not going by, in the old days, I got a photograph.
KISS Kruise 3, we did this.
Yeah, none of that matters to anyone other than those people who have built up, as you said, Lonnie, the equity in going year after year. And again, at the end of the day, we're nothing but customers. So go. I wouldn't want to go and have a bunch of miserable people. I'm only going because I'm fear of missing out. Go because you want to go. Go because you want to experience it, that you're also interested in some of these other bands, but also go with an open mind, because I'm pretty sure you're going to find that the people part of it, the fan part, is the very best part of it, and KISS is just the icing on the cake. And, that's kind of my thoughts. And again, there's still a lot to be announced. We don't know everything. They can't say everything at this point, and there's probably still stuff being planned. I don't think they're going to do a show with pyro on a boat no matter what. That's been, they're doing the show outside so they can do pyro. No, boats and pyro are really bad mix. So I just don't see that being the reason why they're doing it docked. And hopefully the scheduling and all of that works out so that people's holidays, and this is what Sixthman and KISS have to remember, this is also a holiday for people. That you should not have to camp out all day on a deck to get a good spot when you're docked in port at one of your destinations.
True.
To go see the freaking band who you're technically paying a lot of money to go see, regardless of how much of that fee you're paying Sixthman actually ends up in their wallets. So, there are aspects that I'm sure they're still going to have to work out. I'm sure they are paying attention to some of the more reasonable suggestions that have been made, rather than the swearing, kicking, screaming, and all of that. So, I was very disappointed to see some people who I know have gone year after year after year bow out, because I know how much they've enjoyed it on the years that they went. I know, Lonnie, you had a good time.
Yeah.
Even though you had parts that you questioned.
Sure, but I still, there were parts on there that I said, I would have rather heard this instead of this. But you know what? Like Julian said, some of the best part about it is meeting the people on the cruise, like Andrew was there, so I got to hang out with him that week, which was great. And, friends of mine from Chicago were there, and I hung out with them a lot. So, a lot of it is being with your friends and being with the KISS Army, and you have a chance just to talk KISS with someone who can talk with it on your level, kind of like we do on this show once a week. That's one of the best parts about it. But if you don't want to go, just don't go. And there's some people on there that were complaining this earlier in the week, saying this is terrible, I'm done. And then they're able to announce, they're able to book their slots yesterday. And the same people, well, I booked. I'm like, well, what was the last 2 days about with you just bitching and complaining, just for the sake of bitching and complaining? You're still paying the money. What was all that about? I mean, I saw that from multiple people yesterday that I had seen on Facebook pages that were just so pissed off. And then yesterday, well, booked my cruise. What?
But it's the same thing with everything. We complain about the releases, the vinyls, the re-releases.
Sure.
And you people buy them all the time. That's why we get them, So it's the same problem. Or if it is a problem.
I think we're all guilty of it at some time. We complain about the thing that we do, and it's part of some mental thing we have to do in our heads to justify, doing it. I bitched about it, now I can do it. Here, take my money. You dragged it out of me. I was made to do it. It was FOMO because, I'm expecting to have the chance to book the, first dibs on the very last show. That's the only reason I'm going. That sort of mentality. Whatever people do, if you got to justify it, just laugh at yourself after the fact and own up. I bitched about it yesterday. I was really unbalanced and unhinged. But you know what? I'm going to have a great time. So, just don't go being misery guts. I mean, again, people is what it's at. The Dutch guys, the Swedes, the Australians, the German. I'm thinking of one guy in particular. So many cool people and good people who go on that cruise. And unlimited bacon, can't go wrong with that. All right.
No.
You might have to fight Cicchini for it, but there you go. Death match in the buffet. I'm always down for that. All right, let's move on to some of the other topics. Whose idea was about releases we can expect in that? Lead us into it, whoever it was. Lonnie.
2020 is, we've seen KISS have the pattern of releasing stuff based off anniversary, especially with the colored vinyl the last few years. So I was thinking about, I was thinking the other day, like, what am I going to end up buying this year? So I was like, March, they're probably going to have a 45th anniversary of Dress to Kill come out on colored vinyl. Because we've seen that with Hotter Than Hell in the fall. We saw that with Hot in the Shade in the fall. We saw that with Dynasty last summer. So strong positive, and they're about due for another one too, because it's been a few months since they've done it. So I would imagine Dress to Kill on colored vinyl is going to come out in March.
Asylum.
And then Asylum.
Yeah. Asylum, yeah.
Might have to buy that one.
When was that released? What
85.
month was that? Yeah.
A month, September.
What month, though? Is that September?
I think.
Yeah.
September, October.
September. Kurt, what year? What month? What day?
I don't know.
Julian knows. Come on, Julian.
I don't always screw it up. I don't want to get corrected by the gooch.
So we can see Asylum in September. We could see a 45th anniversary of Alive in the fall. On colored vinyl. But maybe, like I said in my post, I said maybe something even cooler. Maybe something even cooler to celebrate Alive being the landmark album that it is. Okay, yeah, Alive on colored vinyl. Okay, that's fun. That'd be fine. But what else could we do to celebrate the anniversary of Alive while they're going through the end of the road tour? Could we get cleaned up versions of the actual shows? Finally, Julian shakes his head no. But
Sure.
Could something like that happen? Julian said, it's the 40th anniversary of Unmasked this year. Maybe we get a colored vinyl of Unmasked as well.
A remix.
So I don't know. Or a remix of Unmasked.
We're not getting anything that takes effort. So
I think a purple Unmasked makes a lot more is what we can expect as not a remixed Unmasked.
Well, on Unmasked, that one of the most popular collectibles to come out of that album is the Mexican swirly vinyl, colored vinyl. And in Mexico, they had a whole bunch of different colors issued from that album. And what I think would be a really cool idea for them to do as a colored pressing for Unmasked, think of the German splatter vinyl. which is black and white. Well, do one in yellow with red and orange and all the colors that were in that translucent one for the Mexican version. So it's different, but for geeks like us, you're like, oh yeah, it's like the same colors that they used in Mexico in 1980.
Sound like butthead.
Yeah. Comic
well,
book
that's
guy.
better than Beavis, at least. Yeah.
Well, you know, I like the Alive. I mean, it's always ranked as one of the top live albums of all time, even in Rolling Stone.
Yeah,
I think it's in like top 5 or something like that, top 5 or 10. So, like, to me, yes, it has to be packaged. Other than color vinyl, whatever, it needs to be maybe. It could be remastered again, but I think it needs to be released with the original shows, the original unedited Eddie Kramer, or re-added, you know, over-recorded, you know, vocals and bass parts or whatever they had to fix. I don't want anything fixed. I want the original shows that they pulled those from. And it could be on vinyl, it could be on CD, it could be a CD set, nice booklet in there. I mean, do something like what the Beatles have done with the, Abbey Road or Sgt. Pepper's, the White Album.
Yeah.
They did some really nice packages, and they could do the same thing with Alive, and I think it'd be very, very cool. And if they can add some, live video to that, that'd be, icing on the cake kind of thing.
Yeah, I think they could at least put the songs in the correct order for once. I mean,
really
have them the way they played it.
Unedited show,
Yeah. I mean, toss them around at least so we get the correct order. I remember a copy floating around a few years back where they had actually put it the way it was and added 1 or 2 songs, and I listen to that one the most these days because it's not the right flow. If I have one complaint about Alive, it's the order of the tracks. They should have fixed that, so it's actually the way they played it live. That's at least they can do that. That's not that big of an effort, but we'll see if they do anything at all.
Yeah,
except putting out some piece of plastic in a different color. Again.
Lonnie, thoughts on an Alive reissue? Let's work through these one by one.
I think Alive would be. I mean, it'd be that if there's any album that they could do a deluxe version like the Beatles have done on their records, it's that. I love your shirt. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. He's still wearing it.
Sorry.
Last week.
Yeah, same one as last week. It's Thursday.
It hasn't changed for a week.
Yeah, I've worn it so long it turned green.
He kind of smells too. But no, if there's an album they could do really special treatment for on a vinyl deluxe version, it's that album. To give us the master recordings of those shows even. I mean, and that's really a pipe dream, but how cool would that be? Now that would get KISS fans excited a whole lot more than Alive on silver vinyl. You know what I mean? I think you'd move a whole lot more units of that. If you did that, and then maybe even throw it up on iTunes too, if someone who just wants the music, also, or just wants the music for the sake of having the music. If someone wants the vinyl for the collector portion of it, do that as well. You could easily do that. And we sit here and we say that all the time about KISS. You could easily do that. You could do that. The one time they did come through for us and really, really gave us what we wanted was the solo albums when that came out a couple years ago. They really did that right. I really don't have any complaints about the way they did that. It's a fantastic packaging. It's exactly what we said they should always do, is put it out on colored vinyl for all 4 of them, put it together. And they did exactly that. Do that. Give that treatment to Alive. Give it the treatment it deserves. I think that would be off the chart fantastic. And it's something they could really do this year with the End of the Road tour. Give me that when you go on tour in the States or in Europe, and not Kiss World Volume 2, you know, and some more greatest hits. Because let's be honest, we could see him doing that too.
Yeah, that
Kiss
would
Universe
be
is the next one.
Yeah, too easy to see. I like the idea of Kiss Alive. We've talked about it a lot. Kind of the formats that we envisage would be possible. Some I know were pitched to the band previously and shut down for whatever reason. It doesn't matter why they were shut down. But when you look at something like the Def Leppard LP boxes, and kind of how they packaged those together, then why not have one that whole outer shell is the Alive cover and back cover and all that. And new graphics, and you've got each one of the shows pressed on vinyl or CD, as the case may be, because Def Leppard also did theirs on CD size, and as you said, on iTunes as well. So each of the shows pressed onto vinyl. Daniel then gets them in the correct order, and we'll be happy. And maybe each one is pressed on different colored vinyl. It doesn't matter what color, and then you get the actual 45th anniversary edition of the album, just pressed on some color of vinyl that hasn't been done before, because again,
gold.
You had the back to why not?
First gold album, right?
If it can be done, and look good, then why not? And I don't pay attention to what creative kind of colors and all that of vinyl are being done. I know the kind of metallic silver Anomaly didn't look that great, but if it's close enough, then it's close enough, and you get like a little note from Gene and Paul, because you just know it'll be from Gene and Paul and not Ace and Peter.
Anybody else.
And no one else. And Eddie Kramer will say that Bob Kulick played on Alive and misremember all those details as well. It could,
and then Bob Kulick will get mad. And
Come with a Grammy, too.
Don't get Bob mad, please. Bob at heart is a nice guy, I'm sure. So that's a great one. Dress to Kill. I mean, that's coming up in March. The 45th of that. I would love to see that one reissued properly. Again, in a similar sort of way. When you think of some of the things that have surfaced in recent years, like the original demo recording of Rock and Roll All Night, or the demos that were done, even just pressing that up on a 10-inch vinyl EP, those versions of the first versions of the song, what was it? They even had a different title for Rock and Roll All Night in error on the acetate.
Oh, really?
It was the first kind of studio album to really do something. And, 68 wasn't a massive hit, but look at Aerosmith. Dream On wasn't a massive hit either when it first came out, but it really became an important song in the band's catalog. So, keep that one pretty much. I don't think you want to do German Green as the vinyl pressing.
No.
Probably not.
No. Thoughts on Dress to Kill, Ken?
Yeah. I could see them doing that one, and maybe I don't know what color. I could see white vinyl maybe on that one, but I would also like to have a little fold out, kind of like the Destroyer Resurrected has that little fold out, little half booklet. It's not a booklet, but it's like a 2-sheeted information, and with Bob Ezrin wrote stuff on there, and there's a bunch of pictures and whatnot. I can't remember it all, but I think they should have that, and maybe write up on it, and then also the pictures that they were taking that they were going to use for that album, where they're going in the phone booth and out of the phone booth, and those things. Just a little added extra thing to do, and I think since it's in March, why not put it out as a record store day release, as like 1,000, 2,000 copies, because the record store day is in April. Why not do that? Do a special release of Dress to Kill and release it then on vinyl. I think that'd be very cool.
Yeah, but very cool, and
very cool and Kiss don't go together.
Often not, because
that's
one of
my fans.
One of the things I've kind of thought about is picture discs. The Dutch KISS Army did those in the mid-'80s, and it would have been a great idea in January 2019 when they kicked off the End of the Road tour to have a subscription-based, picture disc, one a month. Get your orders in, and then a few months later they'll press them all up and probably a few extras to go into the KISS merchandise store and whatnot. Daniel, what's your take on Dress to Kill, and then take us into Asylum, and how is that being celebrated?
Yeah, I always loved Dress to Kill, but when you're talking about releasing it on vinyl, since it's mostly done in black and white, the whole theme of the record, I'd like to see, as Ken said, maybe white vinyl or silver, something like that. And of course, add new stuff, additional stuff. Otherwise, I don't think it's even worth releasing. You need to add something new to the record. I actually like the remastered version of Dress to Kill that was released in '97. I think it was pretty clear and sounded well. So, but I'm more looking forward to the Asylum one, of course, because that was the genesis of my KISS fandom. So that'll be pretty interesting if they do something with that. I was kind of surprised when they did it for Hard in the Shade. I didn't think they would do that because they have been so focused on the makeup era. So I think that was a nice surprise. So we'll see what they do with KISS Asylum. I'd actually, of course, would like them to do something. If it's one thing I have a hard time with Asylum, there's something with the sound of the guitars that's not really sounds right to me. If they could do something about that, but I guess they won't. To be realistic, they will just, release it and have some color on it. Well, they could actually go crazy with the colors on the vinyl for this.
Fluorescent.
Yeah, if they go by the, costumes that they had back in the day. So we'll see if they release it in neon green or something. But like Paul Stanley's gloves in the Asylum video.
Oh, neon pink.
I don't have to. Well.
Oh yeah,
pink. Yeah, they were pink. It was the roll. It was. Yeah, you're correct. Of course.
There you go.
But we'll see what happens. I just think it's nice if they release something from the non-makeup era. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the idea, obviously, of Asylum as well. But if you look at the front cover of that album, they've got these splotches that go across it kind of on an angle in red and yellow and blue. Is there any way for that to be done on a black vinyl to actually go across just like the middle of it on a similar sort of angle? That would be really cool. Even if it wasn't quite exact like that, because obviously the vagaries of pressing vinyl would be rather difficult. I would just love to see that. I don't want them to change that album one bit. I want it just, if they do that color, I'm buying it. Even if they do hot pink to make Vinny mad,
you're buying it.
Or neon green, I'll buy it because it's Asylum. It's my entry point into the band, and like Daniel said, they did Hot in the Shade, so that really shows a willingness to, the Elder's going to come in brown vinyl. Get ready. It's coming. It's coming in turd-colored vinyl. Lonnie, your thoughts on both of those?
I think the Dress to Kill I think is a given, just because the fact that we've seen the original album, we've seen Hotter Than Hell, we've seen Destroyer, we've seen Rock and Roll Over. I mean, it's a given that I think in March we're going to get Dress to Kill. What color it'll be? Will it be like a white? Like a concept, black and white cover, I think would be probably most appropriate. And I can definitely see it coming, and I see the T-shirts and the gold records and everything else that they've done to celebrate all these releases. The Asylum, I really hope they do the Asylum. They did the Hot in the Shade, which makes me believe that if you're going to do Hot in the Shade, why wouldn't you do something to celebrate Asylum if you're doing Hot in the Shade? Mm-hmm. So that being said, I think we will get it, and we should get it. What color it'll be? Hell, I don't know. I mean, you can pick any random color that's on that awful cover, but Come on, Julian, it is awful.
It's glorious. Come on, Lonnie.
It
looks better than a sheet of metal with a blood drip logo on it.
I didn't say that Revenge of the Glorious cover, but I just said that Silence is not very good.
I'm just going after your heart, you know.
You're just trying to take a little jab at me while you can. So, I don't know what color it'll be, but I hope they do it because I love the non-makeup stuff, and I think, you know, I've said it on the show a lot that I love to get my hands on any kind of non-makeup piece of memorabilia I can, because when I was a kid, if I could get my hands on the makeup type stuff, well, that was cool. And now it's like it's completely flipped. Like the non-makeup stuff to me is like the really cool shit that I'd love to come across and find. So I hope that they do it. They do it because they really don't do enough justice to the non-makeup era. So I really hope to see it.
So next year when they put out the Animalized throw rug, you're going to be down with that because it reminds you of the Bengals.
I'll send you pictures of me naked on it.
Please don't.
Oh, God.
We don't want to have to ban you.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
I've gone this far without being banned with the FA.
Banned, blocked, erased.
Oh.
Some of the other...
like?
No. Other releases possible in 2020. I think another greatest hits package. I don't even want to go there because what the hell do you say? They've been done every which way. So unless they're gonna press up the very best of Kiss on some colored vinyl, I'm not interested. Alive 5. I get the feeling they've already missed the boat on that. That kind of ties into, you know, Kissology 4 and, you know, video package. This show really needed to be documented, but it really needed to be documented on the first leg of the tour before they started taking away pods and pyro and kind of de-bombastifying the Kiss show, because it was absolutely gigantic when that curtain dropped in Vancouver, and for everyone who went to the first leg of the tour across North America. It was amazing. Especially with the whistling rockets, all the pyro, all the concussive stuff, but particularly Vancouver, because they immediately changed some of the concussive aspects of that. And unless they did film anything in high definition, what would be the point now? And again, the tour's kicking off at the beginning of next month, so there's still time to see whether it comes back to the full glory that was the original run. But the Europeans got a smaller stage show, but it needs to be documented. It really needs to be a standalone concert release, and what better time to have that release than while the tour is going on, and that you can pimp it at your shows. Daniel, your thoughts on that?
Well, the Vancouver show seemed real great, so we'll see whatever happens when they continue. I'm going to attend a show in Stockholm, and we'll see. They're actually playing a really big arena. I'm not sure how many people will show up. It will be at an arena that it's about, I think, 50,000 people that can go inside that arena. And I don't see them moving that kind of numbers. So we'll see whatever happens. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to that concert, but I'm also looking at Guns N' Roses are coming to Sweden Rock Festival. So I'm kind of torn if I'm going to put my money there or at the Kiss show. But I guess I will go and see Kiss another time. And even if they don't bring the whole show, I think it will be just a great experience, like it was when I saw them in Norway last year. So I'll be at the concert, even if they don't bring a whole lot of pyro. So we'll see. We'll see what they bring.
Yeah, it's a shame that the Japanese shows were further downscale, but understandably so. Yeah. There are probably local rules that precluded them from being able to use the full pyro complement and shipping everything over. You know, especially with what happened with Australia and whatnot, would have been highly complex. So I think the fans still had a good time. That's always important. Ken, what are your thoughts on videos and whatnot?
Mute.
You're muted. You're muted.
I'm mute. I do think that they have been recording these shows. Probably, whatever their video feed that they have for the cameras that are there for each concert, and I'm sure they have and are saving all the soundboard that goes along with it. So maybe it will be used, and maybe it will be broken up into. It'd be interesting if they could put something together with multiple locations and use videos from different, concerts that they had done throughout the tour. I think that'd be cool. Of course, Vancouver, the first one, and then any other ones that they deemed that turned out good or looked cool on video. I guess they'd have to go through a lot. I know they did that with the 96 reunion. They recorded all those shows, but they never. The problem is they never put those to use, really. So, but I'd like to see them do it. I think it'd be cool to have it, and if it is during this year that they release it, I think it'd be great. It might actually get some more people to go out and see the show, even though you can see it on the DVD or Blu-ray or whatever. I think that looks pretty cool. It must be very exciting while you're there in concert with all the fire and bombs going off. So,
well, do you really think a DVD has that impact anymore? Because I think most people just go on YouTube and make up their mind before there are any DVD releases.
True, but the YouTube is usually from
it's not as good, but
not as good. And the sound quality is just straight whatever. They're not plugged into a soundboard. Oh. I mean, the Vegas Blu-ray that I have, that they did, that looks really good. I mean, that is really clear and great shots and everything because it's professionally done and it's their own cameras and so on. So I think it would go over well, and I'd rather have that than a YouTube concert.
Yeah, I think everyone would rather have that rather than a YouTube concert. But I think people are lazy and people are cheap, and the DVD, the ship has sailed for DVDs.
Blu-ray.
So I don't think it will generate a whole lot of interest, even though I would like one as well, of course.
You could say
one from every tour.
You could say that for vinyl. I mean, the ship has sailed, but people are.
If the ship has sailed, then do a subscription basis. That people are getting a gloriously overpriced package, but it's very limited in edition. Look at those Metallica box sets or the Guns N' Roses box.
True.
And what can be done, but do them direct to customer for a premium, and throw in the random signed copies as kind of the carrot to get people to go for it. So I mean, I love that Vancouver multicam, the unofficial one, because of the front row guy. So that's already
Metallica is always releasing cool stuff. I think I don't know.
I watch so many of those freaking Metallica things.
Those live clips that they release all the time from every place they play. I mean, they are really on it. They're really. Putting in the effort, and they have always done it. And everything from Some Kind of Monster, what a great documentary, and all these live clips, and they actually play for fans because they enjoy it, not for the money. So I always keep my eye on Metallica. They are always have a lot of good ideas, and still to this day.
Yeah, I don't buy much Metallica, but I've been watching that YouTube stuff like crazy. Full shows, and there's some great fan websites you can go to that take the pro shots and marry them up with the Met Club, soundboards, which I don't think we necessarily want for KISS, but for that band, it certainly works. Lonnie, your takes on all of this?
I think that there's a reason why we haven't seen a lot of KISS DVD releases, and a lot of it, like you guys said, is because of YouTube. I think, yeah, that Vegas DVD or Blu-ray or whatever it is, it looks great. It's fantastic, and I gladly paid the money to get it. But I think that KISS sees that the money isn't there, the juice isn't worth the squeeze, so to say, in releasing that, because, well, they're gonna have to pump some money into it to do it up the way they want, with the packaging, with special features, this and that one, and whatever, and to film it properly the way they would want it filmed for DVD, for a release. But just like music, I think people are more likely to say, well, if I can go listen to it or watch it for free on my computer or basically on my TV, because I can get YouTube on my 65-inch TV in my living room if I want to, why should I go spend money to watch arguably the same thing?
I think they will get a lot more success if they manage to get some sort of biopic going. I know there's been ramblings about that, but if they could get a biopic on Netflix or something, that could actually get people excited and get new fans to the shows.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's one of the few ways using video that can attract fans to this day. I mean, unfortunately, people are. I mean, I teach like 13-year-old kids. They don't own a single DVD. Even the ones who listen to music, there's no way they're buying a DVD, and that's the future.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately.
No, like a lot of people don't even have. Some people don't even have DVD players anymore.
Yeah.
Discs. What the hell is that? They just look at it. What's that?
Some kind of dinosaur technology.
It's like it's not far from an LP for them. So it moves fast. Things, it's hard to keep up.
I actually have a VHS deck right next to me, and I use that more than I use our Blu-ray. So go figure. If I'm watching anything else, it's on Netflix or Disney or whatever. Complete lunacy. There was one very late thrown in part to this discussion, so let's end on this. And Daniel, I think it might have been yours, and that was the favorite music documentary or motion picture about any band. In a week that Neil Peart has passed away, my pick for that question is Behind the Lighted Stage, or is it Beyond the Lighted Stage? Whatever the Rush
Beyond
document,
something like that. Yeah,
with Ged and Alex going around all the places in Toronto, and where they'd kind of formed. That's just by far the one that jumped into my mind immediately. And there's probably quite a lot of others that have been very well done. But in this week where a great drummer has passed away, that was the one that immediately resonated. As for a major concert film from any band, that's really tough. I'm gonna go with Iron Maiden's Live After Death. Mm-hmm. Just because, again, 1985, when I was starting out, and you had the Running Free video on MTV, and I didn't get to see the whole thing for quite a few years, but I listened to the album to death. No pun intended. But to this day, that was really a really good, concert film. Daniel, let's go to you.
Well, I enjoy a lot of the documentaries that has something more than music in them. There's like a storyline. So I really enjoy the one about that Canadian band, Anvil. Steel. They had one song. What was it? Steel on Steel or something like that. Metal to metal on metal or something.
On metal.
Yeah.
The
singer's name is Lips, and or something like that. He's called Lips, and it's just about a struggling band who were destined for stardom, but they never got there. But they never gave up, and there's a few awesome clips in there where they play for literally nobody, and the owner, he doesn't even want to pay them, and you see they do some sort of a comeback. And another film in that vein is Last Days Here, about Pentagram. I don't know if you've seen that one. Pentagram, no? It's a great documentary. It's about this fan. He loved Pentagram. So he looked, they hadn't played for years. So he looked for the singer. I think his name was like Bobby something. And he found him in his parents' basement, shooting up drugs, looking like, a crack whore or something. Terrible. And he helps the guy, and they stage a comeback, and they actually managed to come back. It's a great story.
That's cool.
And of course, as I mentioned earlier, Some Kind of Monster is the one I watched the most times, I think, because I watch it every year. I like the behind the stage feel, and it's real. It's not like Kiss behind the stage, fake. And seeing James Hetfield's struggle with alcohol and different things like sleeping around and everything, and he managed to come back, and so those are 3 films that if you haven't seen them, you need to go and get a copy of them on DVD.
What?
As a Scandinavian, has anyone ever done a good documentary on Merciful Fate and King Diamond?
I haven't seen one. No, I haven't seen one.
I think that's lacking, because I can't think of one. That's one I would actually love to see more about, especially that genre of music explored, and King himself, where he came from. Ken?
Well, I would say Spinal Tap. No, I know that's not real, but that's a fun one if you want to.
It's awesome.
Fictional.
It doesn't have to be real.
That's kind of cool.
Same with Rockstar, for that matter, with Wahlberg.
Yeah. But and we're still waiting for a Kiss documentary, of course. I think the one I really enjoyed a lot was the Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. That Tom Petty documentary was really good. I mean, it was 3.5 hours, or I don't know how long. It was long, but it didn't seem that long because it was so interesting. I mean, it was so thorough of the whole band's history, and including the band before, the Mud Crunch, which was the band before they, became Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. So I mean, that was just fantastic. Then as for live kind of video, there's so many. I mean, even the Kiss stuff, from Kissology and stuff. But and like you said, Rush, that's a good one. I have that. But I really like the ELO one, because there's not a lot of ELO stuff. So the one from a couple of years ago at Wembley, Jeff Lynne's ELO at Wembley Stadium. I mean, just fantastic. Really.
Live concert, I have to say.
Live concert.
First time I saw Rammstein, a live concert with them. Yeah. It was awesome.
Shit.
Like, they released something in the late 90s. I thought, what the heck is this? I'm actually going to see them as well this summer in Gothenburg. Oh. So I have a few concerts to look forward to.
Yeah, Rammstein is an eye-opener.
Mm-hmm.
Ken, did you watch the Linda Ronstadt documentary that
I
recently aired?
I did, and I have it actually. I have it actually. I ordered it, and it was delivered to. Yeah, it's very good. I mean, it's something that should have been probably done a long time. I would have liked more live music on that. I think I do have a bootleg of a couple of her shows, but it was very well done, and it's kind of it's really tragic. That she had to give up singing because of Alzheimer's.
But there's been a couple of really good ones in recent years. Ronstadt's the latest. Glenn Campbell, which also aired a few years ago, and his battles was fantastic. Lonnie, before we forget you, sorry.
I don't know. As far as a biopic goes, I think the Kiss biopic could be fun if done right, with the right characters, with the right actors. I think a Guns N' Roses one would be fun as well. Just to see, it could be very similar to the Motley Crue thing, with showing the sleaze of the '80s and things like that, and the craziness that went on behind the scenes. But I think you could do that one and really just solely focus on the Appetite for Destruction era of the band, and just end it like when they're opening those shows for the Rolling Stones at the end of the Appetite tour, just showing that, this band that came from nothing, basically living in a storage unit, had made it. And even though that, and became the biggest band in the world with one out, and just focus on that, and don't even go into the Illusion stuff, because then it gets kind of clouded, and and you see the band kind of breaking at the seams and that. But just celebrate the band with appetite. I think would be really, really fun to do if done correctly anyway. As far as KISS stuff goes, I mean, I'd love to see more stuff from them. I mean, and we've done a lot of shows just talking about what we would want to see from KISS as far as DVD, Blu-ray type releases. And outside of KISS Rocks Vegas, which they did that show actually before we even started doing this show. Those shows were in 2014, and I guess the DVD came out sometime in 15, maybe 16, around in there. I guess something in that neighborhood. But KISS is the most visual band ever, and they've done one release since we started doing this show, and that's terrible.
Yeah. Sad.
So I guess don't hold your breath is my point.
No.
Yep. Another couple that I've watched recently, Springsteen on Broadway. Fantastic, kind of storytellers. And also just did Western Stars the other day, which is countrified. So very good stuff. There's so much good music out there. It doesn't matter what your tastes are.
Yeah.
It's just, KISS isn't going to do it. Going to get my fix for music and watching, music history type stuff elsewhere with other bands. Never get bored. And I think in 2020, the big one's going to be the White Album. So hopefully there'll be some documentary type stuff that comes from the Beatles again when you buy yet another version of that freaking album.
Oh,
All right.
I think Let It Be.
That's this year as well. Didn't that come out?
Yes.
I lose track.
Yes.
Whatever. There's a 50th anniversary. 70th.
It's going to be
Yes.
Let It Be, I believe.
Yeah, sorry. Complete brain fart there on my Beatles chronology.
It's okay.
There we go. It's okay. You said that very patronizingly. I like that. It's okay, Julian. You're an idiot.
It's okay. Yeah, here. Oh, there you go.
The
Okay.
wizard is always right.
And on that corrective note, let's leave that there. Lonnie, good to see you again.
Good to be on here. Good to be here again.
Yeah, Daniel and Ken, of course. So thank you all for listening. Do chime in with feedback. Do get involved in conversations on wherever you read or listen or watch this episode. And just remember, we do appreciate you giving us your ears and taking the time to listen to our show. So thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now. Thank you for spending time listening to the KissFAQ podcast today. All sales are final. There are no refunds. If you'd like, look us up on Facebook or come over to the KissFAQ message board and discuss the topic we've broadcast today. Don't forget to rate us on iTunes, Spreaker, or wherever you've listened to the show. We hope you'll join us again.